Now, when you break up everything that needs to be done, maybe on page and off page for your SEO campaign, if you were to compare as a percentage out of 100 how much off page makes and how much on page makes, you'd probably say that off page SEO makes up about 80% of search. It really is where the most important focus needs to be spent. It's important to make sure you get your title tags right and your descriptions and your on-page optimization, but even that said, you can still rank a website if you get your off-page SEO right. So we'll dive straight into it. I think the first thing that you need to understand is the way that Google works. You see, it's not magic. It's not just magically making search results appear. It's a machine. There's a set of rules. It's an algorithm that is followed to compute and analyze a whole lot of things within Google's index to determine what is the most relevant result for the end user based on what it is that they searched for. So what's it all based on? Now, if you don't know, the whole Google algorithm is based on the way that research reports work. So for a research report in any industry, when it's launched or when it's released, the point at which it really starts to gain weight in that industry or considered a very important work is the point at which other people start to reference that research report. So once that research report starts appearing in people's articles, on other people's websites, maybe it's mentioned in speeches, maybe it's mentioned in radio, or maybe when it's even referenced in someone else's newer, later research report, and it references that original research report. That is basically a whole lot of people saying, hey, that research report is good enough and the information is quality that I want to then take that research and include it in something that I'm doing. And effectively, that's like people voting for that research report saying, yes, it's important. And that's ultimately how research report and research gains importance within a community. It's once other people start to recognize it. Now, the whole Google algorithm is based on this idea. So if you link it back to websites, once your website starts to get referenced and other people are recognizing your website on their website, then that's when your website will start to gain weight in Google's eyes and then start to appear higher up in the search engines. I'll give you another metaphor in a moment to help you understand that, but I did want to just break apart the two components of what Google actually does. There's an index software and some query software. Now, the index software is where the spider's involved, and you might have heard of people talking about the World Wide Web, and the reason they call it that is this idea that there's a spider that crawls around, and this spider, this search engine spider, crawls around all of the different websites, and it basically follows links from one website to another. That's how it makes the jump. That's where the web is, if you like. And the point at which the web intersects with another piece of web is where the website is. So I've actually done a little picture here for you to try and explain it a little bit better. I'll swap it out of presentation mode so I can use my mouse. But you can see here, if you imagine that this dot here is a website, and all of these smaller dots surrounding it, let's say they're sub-pages, so they're internal pages of this website, and these arrows are just links. So basically on this web page there's a link to the home page. Now this website ends up linking over to this website, and this website links out to a couple of extra websites, and you can see this website down here has got quite a few internal pages, then it's got these external pages, and you can kind of see the way that a web is starting to be created, because it basically is created when one page links to another. Now this little guy, this spider down here, follows those links, that web crawls around to try and discover new pages. Once it finds a new page, it throws it back to Google's index software, and Google doesn't do any computation at that point in time. All it does is it's just cataloging everything that this spider can find. So it's having a big catalog of all the websites that Google's ever found over the years, and then that's getting added into the index. Now, I suppose an important thing to note there is the only way that Google is going to be able to find a page that you create is that you'll need to link to it at some point. Because if you think about the way the spider is going to be crawling around the web, it is going to need a link to get to a page. So anything that you don't want found, just don't link to it, and Google's not going to be able to find it. But if you want it to be found, it needs to have good linking structure. And that's an important thing to note here. And that's why in one of the previous videos with on-page optimization, I talked about the importance of internal linking structure. There are some other things that you could do by submitting Google sitemaps and things like that to alert Google as to the pages that you do have, but it's very important that you get that on-page internal linking structure correct. Now, once the spider throws all of this information over to Google and they build this index, the next step is the query software steps in. And this is basically what serves up the results. It's the algorithm. It's what calculates what to serve up based on what the users typed in. So we've got here in this example, it's probably a little bit small for you to see, but it just says free trading systems. Now, Google then goes through all of its huge catalogue of websites and then analyzes those websites to determine what's relevant to serve up.